How is that?
That's perfect.
Great.
All right, sorry, I was just posting something. That's why I'm staring at my phone.
It's all good.
You know what it's like when you got too much on.
Yeah,
Always.
it's insane. It's insane. It's good to see you, though.
Oh, look at your background.
And we have garlic and we have our own steaks.
all I've got is this from Hellraiser. A friend of mine printed. So
That's great.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
great.
it's got. He's such a like genius at doing 3D printing. So it's got all the detail. It feels right, you know.
Wow.
So he's done all of it. Yeah.
That's
really
fantastic.
So it's basically a little prop for the Hellbound Festival that I'm doing at the moment.
That's excellent.
That's great. How's it going? So I forgot what stage.
It's going well. We've announced all the judges. We've got, I think, 7 submissions since Saturday, which is pretty good going. And
Great.
we've got 3 great judges. One's Alex Proyas, who directed The Crow. He's judging. So yeah, I did Dark City and a few other huge films. So yeah, and I've interviewed him and a couple of other people. Like one of the chaps is called Ramsey Campbell, and he's been a horror author for 60 years, and he's based in the UK.
Oh,
But he's been compared to H.P. Lovecraft. He mentored Clive Barker when he was young. And the other chap, I'll send you a link to all of them. But Dave Kendall's an artist, and his artwork is so dark, it's great. You know what I mean? So it's really, really sinister. But he works for 2000 AD Comics in the UK, and he does a lot of work for Blizzard. So if you've played any Blizzard games, you've probably seen his concept art at one point or another.
Okay.
oh, that's awesome. That sounds like it's going well then. Like you're really.
Yeah, it's going. It's a bit crazy. It's just so much to do, and I brought a couple of volunteers on board that are helping me with a bit of creativity and keep me sane. You know.
It's important to, when you can get the help. It sounds like you're going from one thing to another. Like the Isolation Film Festival is amazing.
Yeah. Oh no, that's still going. I'm still releasing episodes. I'm doing 2 a week now. I'm not shooting anymore. I'm doing one more for a chap that's in Australia called Rod. He's a mime, and I don't know why I have to do that when I say a mime. It's that fake wall thing, isn't it? Yeah, one more to record, and there's about 8 episodes, including yours, I think. So, yours is definitely in there. So yeah, it's
You're
it's a
busy.
bit crazy.
Yeah, it sounds like.
Yeah, it's and then I'm building I've just put a fence up as well outside the back, so it's yeah.
Wow. That's
So at some point I'm going to collapse. That's the plan anyway. You know.
Make sure you build in a break if you can. I don't know if you can.
Well, my weekends, because I plot enough for the weekend in terms of announcements, releases, that kind of thing. I have most of the weekend to myself, which is great. And
Good.
then I any kind of admin or work or Photoshop or editing I do during the week after work, just so it doesn't become horrible. You don't want to stop enjoying it,
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. Good for you though. It's exciting. You got a lot of exciting projects.
It is. It's good, yeah. And how are you two doing?
Great. Busy too.
Yeah, very busy.
But all good busy. Knock on wood. Everyone we know is safe, so that's honestly the bottom line of health and stuff. But yeah, lots of music. I'm doing a lot of co-writing with people, and Dave's doing stuff.
Writing lots of stuff, trying to get music into television, and starting to get some success, which is great.
Yeah, he got.
That's great.
He just started doing that. He got a forward already, so it's basically you're in the final pool of applicants.
Yeah,
that's cool. That's really good. If you're only starting off and you've got something like at that stage, that's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm jealous actually.
Yeah, everyone else is like, why? Yeah, I guess some like actors and performers get a break straight away, and some spend 10, 15 years or 20 years in the business trying to do something.
I'm not celebrating too much. It's nice, but I just got to keep going forward and keep working, which I'm sure you know.
Yeah, you just can't stop.
That's true. But we were so excited to do this. It's just a nice break to just kind of get out of the norm and talk about, Buffy. It's great.
Yeah, well, that's what I liked about our chat about this, is that there's no stresses about scheduling. I think what we do is we record a few over a few weeks, and then we kind of stagger releases. And we're doing a community portal. I don't know why we say we, because I do most of the work for this thing.
You do.
But I'll say we because it's like it sounds like the festival's bigger than it is. That's probably why I say it.
That's good.
So we're doing based on the Isolation Film Festival, the sense of community and connecting with people like you guys and a lot of the other filmmakers. We thought, why don't we open up Hellbound slightly differently and not necessarily do a podcast for the filmmakers, because it's a huge undertaking. I thought this could be less stress. Like, this is all based on Zoom. It's all taken from that, and I'm gonna I've got it in gallery view so I can see you two on one side.
Yeah.
And then I'll put some graphics in and make it really nice, and it'll go on the community page of Hellbound initially and YouTube.
Great.
And we're going to have cosplayers that are submitting pictures. So
I love that.
Yeah, we've got a lot, and it's a little bit crazy.
It's so good. And meanwhile, we have our pseudo stakes.
I know. That's what I need. You know what?
And actually, Dave isn't holding his up. Alex, you can have this one virtually.
Yeah, I need to find. You know what? I'll make sure I've got a Buffy prop by next time.
And also, I have one real Buffy thing, which is other than. I don't know if you can see that. It's my Buffy cup.
Oh, that's awesome artwork as well.
Like her, but it's a Buffy cup,
Comic. It's from the comic.
It's from the comic.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. What are they? Are they album covers or are they DVDs or something on your left?
They're DVDs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Smudge has all of all the seasons.
I've always loved that. That's the best photo of the show.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, it's so iconic, that picture.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, so how did we watch them many days ago?
We watched the first episode a couple weeks ago, and the second episode we watched a few times.
Yeah, that's my fault. I kept falling asleep because it was late.
Yeah. That's like me in a film called Frantic with Harrison Ford, directed by Roman Polanski. I never saw the end. I watched it 5 times over a course of years. And I was like, this is a great movie. And when I watched it in its entirety after about 15 years of trying to watch this film at different times, I didn't like the end. It was really poor ending. It's about a guy loses his wife gets kidnapped in Paris, and he's in the shower. He goes down to see where she is, and she's just disappeared. And it's a really good film, apart from the last half an hour.
Oh, shit. That's when it should be really the best.
Yeah, because it was always on. It was at that point where it wasn't available online. Sorry, Windows just popped up. It wasn't available online, and I always woke up in the credits, honestly, every time, and it was on 1 o'clock in the morning, something like that. So yeah, I thought this is a good idea because it's a softer side of horror, really much softer side compared to Hellraiser or something like that, So it's I want to be able to not spread myself too thin or ourselves, but cater to everyone that's wants to watch the show or be part of the festival. That we're not just going for hardcore blood and guts. I think this is a great way into that, and based on the first couple of episodes, it feels. Obviously, we don't know what the structure of our show is going to be completely. So, I thought about favorite kills, that kind of thing, but not to have a regimented thing, just to bring up those certain subjects.
Sure, that's great. Actually, we thought of some too.
Great. That's great. Anything you can send on messages or anything like that, that's fantastic for me. And then I'll keep that in mind. You see, each time I watch the next couple of episodes or so. So I don't know how to start this.
Can I?
Yeah.
Thanks for being back. Is it okay if I just list them? It's
you can say whatever you want. Yeah.
Okay. So right off the top, because I write too, right, not just music, right? So themes, characters, and character development, storyline, language influence. Like, wow, what a show, and how it influenced actually our language.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and actually that's it. So I've got like, themes are amazing, like feminism right off the bat.
Yeah.
A strong woman, starting with a vampire scene with Darla at the very first vampire we ever see, but we don't know she's a vampire. And we assume, including me, that she's vulnerable with this guy she's seeing.
Oh yeah, I fell into that trap straight away. And that for me was because it's really fresh for me, because I've not seen it since its original run. That's how fresh it is.
Wow.
So the great perspective, you've seen it probably multiple times. I've only seen it once in its entirety. And that first kill, I thought, oh, how does this start? And when they break into the school for, to get up to no good, so to speak, you think obviously he's the guy, he's the horrible one. And that was the best kill in the first 2 episodes, or at least the first episode, because it was such a shock.
Yeah,
because like you say, you think she's a vulnerable woman, and then it flips straight away. And then, like you're saying, the different strengths of women, and it represents, I won't say the different kinds of women in the show, but the first episode or so, it shows like you've got I'm terrible at some of the character names, by the way. So Charisma Carpenter represents probably the worst in high school. Cordelia, yeah, I should remember that. She was always my favorite. I should remember that.
But a likable one.
Yeah, exactly. And then you've got her, the blonde girl that's with hers. I think it's a regular. And
she turns into a rat.
Harmony. No, that's later.
Oh, sorry.
Harmony is the other girl.
Yeah, she's like, she's being led astray, and that's how I feel about it. And then you've got and then you've got Willow. I remembered one.
The opposite,
Then you've got Willow, exactly. So it really shows it's quite a mature show in terms of development of characters and the strength of Buffy especially.
Well, even Buffy's mom right away is painted as somebody who's got some strength. She's bringing her daughter after being kicked out of school, moving towns, starting a new job. She talks about opening a gallery that was failing and trying to bring it back up. And so it's almost like every single character, especially some of the women right off the bat, are incredibly well thought out.
Yeah. Plus she's a mom, so there's no father direct. I mean, Giles is the father figure, but no official, dad that we see yet. Anyway, so she's strong for raising Buffy, and So
that's a really good point. Is that what you said about characterization? Is the characters are so well sculpted already? Does it feel to you as though they feel well established straight away, don't they?
Yeah, it's really brilliant, Alex.
There's a lot of shows I think struggle with getting you to get to know the characters, and it feels like you have to go back to early episodes and they're not as whole formed characters as they are later on. This one, the way that they talk and act, it's almost exactly the same throughout the whole show.
Yeah, great.
Unless the character has some sort of a developmental story arc that helps them grow.
Yeah. Oh, there's a few of those.
There's a few,
which is great too.
But it seems like they feel like real people, or that it's not even a pilot episode.
Yeah.
Is
it a pilot episode? I can't remember.
I don't know. I looked a little bit and I can't see anything other than this one. I don't know that they ever filmed the pilot, so I think it is the pilot.
Yeah.
I'd love to know whether they did any kind of workshopping, or some directors rehearse and some don't. And
interesting. You know what? Because I think sometimes they have the director talking in the DVDs. So I haven't reviewed those, but next time I will.
Yeah, listen. Definitely. It's I think I just really enjoyed it straight away. And the thing for me is, the key thing is, not key thing is, I really enjoy how these shows are lit. Horror is lit, and I enjoy the mood, the setup. And I initially thought, now this might be a I'm not going to say spoiler alert because that's ridiculous. But I assumed that the episode's called Welcome to Hellmouth, isn't it, the first one?
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah. I'll double check.
Oh, I think you left the disc one is. Oh no, there it is. Welcome to the Hellmouth. Yeah.
And what's the episode 2 called?
The Harvest.
So Welcome to Hellmouth. I thought it's assumed and already known that Hellmouth's under the school.
Yes.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, you were
We
right.
It's not. Like, I
not.
think we assume that because we've seen it before.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And
They don't establish it in the show. They establish that there is a Hellmouth, but not that it's under the school.
yeah. And it
Yeah.
is eventually under the school, isn't it, later on at some point?
Yeah, it's under. It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I remember a huge set piece, and obviously that's later down the road for us to talk about. But there's a huge set piece, as I remember, when they things kind of escalate.
That-
And I don't remember the other high school not headmaster. What do you call it? The head of the school?
Oh, the principal. Yeah.
Principal, yeah.
I think there are
There's a few of them.
at least 3, if not 4, headmasters throughout the thing.
Is that right? Oh, because they all get killed off, probably.
Yeah,
or
yeah.
in various ways. It starts with Principal Flutie, who's the one in the first couple episodes, who I don't remember what season he perishes, but it's either I don't think he lasts more than 2 seasons.
Is it? And I know it's Quark from Deep Space Nine, but is it Armin Shimmerman? Is that right?
Okay, he's the one who okay, then it's 4 headmasters then.
Yeah. And he's
Now,
a friend.
is he the last one?
No,
I
the
think-
last one I cannot remember
He has
his
red
name.
hair, right?
No, the very last one is when the school reopens, and I cannot remember the actor's name. He's from other films, and he turns out to be the son of a previous Slayer. And
Ah, okay.
Oh, right. And he dates Buffy.
I can't remember that.
Yes, he
but-
does. He ends
All
up-
right, okay. That's to come. That's great.
Yeah.
Is
But
there?
You're right. I keep thinking of all these different things too. But anyway.
Yeah. So it was quite an achievement, especially in the first episode. I
Yeah.
felt Xander for me was the most well established
Yes.
in terms of the characters.
Yeah.
They knew who he was right away. His manner of speaking and his humor and
Insecurity.
and yeah, him covering up his insecurity with his sort of deprecating humor, and I was so amazed at the going back to it his speech patterns, because it's so different from some of the other characters, but right away, and he never stops talking like that.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
It's really amazing.
It's such a different form of slang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I like about him is he's so vulnerable and real, and he seems like a bit of a what's the word? He's not a jerk or anything, but he comes off as maybe a little flaky. I don't know what the word is.
I was gonna say buffoon.
A little bit of a buffoon. That's it.
Yeah. It's almost like it's not arrogance. It's because he softens the edges of anything that might be interpreted as arrogance. It's all softened with him, and
Yeah.
I feel as though that's probably Josh Whedon. That's the character he connects with the most. That's how I feel about that.
That's interesting.
Oh, I can see that.
And you know what I
Yeah.
love though is there's one scene where they're going back. I think it's the second episode, where they're trying to go back and get Xander's friend who had turned into the vampire.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm walking over. Xander's terrified, but he said no, but he's my bud, or something like that. And then he adds something like, besides it's history class or something like, why would it? But the bottom line
Oh,
is,
it was chem class or something.
yeah. So, what's really cool about that is I think deep down he's really a good guy, which I gravitate towards. Like he's actually a loyal friend, which
Right
kinda
away,
nice.
he's protective of Buffy. As soon
Yeah.
as he finds out he's in trouble,
yeah,
and he tries to go and help her in a variety of ways, even with Buffy and Willow discouraging him, he still shows up and tries to help, which is pretty incredible for somebody who's being attacked by vampires.
Yeah, I like how there wasn't a long, drawn out disbelief as well,
Yes.
and it was like show them the vampires, show the other characters what's
That's
actually
a good
happening.
plan. If I were writing, I probably would have described it for 4 pages or something. Yeah, it's like
It's like that. No one believes that kid that's seen that's seen Pennywise. You know what I mean? Like no one believes. Show them. That was the key thing with that, and it gets you straight into the show. And I wouldn't be surprised if there was some sort of pilot before this, because it's so well kind of. It throws you in a deep end. Even the title sequence, when you watch the first episode in the season, it's almost like, oh right, okay, you know what I mean. It wasn't a bad thing for me. It was they established who Buffy was, or not not Buffy, but the Slayer, who the Slayer is.
Yeah.
What the Slayer is, and it's so ahead of its time in terms of representing women in this show. Isn't it?
I agree, and I mean, I don't call myself a feminist or anything, but it's certainly one of the big themes that seems to jump out. And what it means to be a strong, forget women, like what it means to be a strong person, like what is Buffy, and her evolution, of course, is really central to the whole series.
Everybody has.
Everybody.
I think there's not a character in the entire show that doesn't have some kind of significant event and growth because of it.
Yeah, like Giles too.
And not always positive.
Yeah.
You think that superhero type shows, people always have adversity and they overcome it and get better, but they don't always. So it seemed to be a little bit more realistic of a show. You know, there's some negative things that happen in the show that they don't resolve into better situations. Which is incredible because you don't see writing like that all the time.
That's true.
No, especially for the target audience, it's normally dumbed down, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. And that's what I also love is the layers. Like you can watch this without thinking about all these heavy themes or whatever. It's just fun to watch, and it's campy in a good way. I still can't get my best friend to watch more than one episode because she kept saying, "Oh, it's too campy for me." But that's part
I
of
love it. Yeah, I love having like I don't like just horror. I like a great movie. That's all great show. That's all that matters, you know. And I just wanted to point out two things before I forget. I just made a couple of notes. Why does the principal put that report card from Buffy together in the wrong way? Did you notice that? He tapes it together, but it's not the right way round.
I don't know if that was a production error and they just didn't notice.
Well, the thing is though, Buffy stares at him and looks down at the paper and she squints because she's like, what's he doing? Maybe it's just something of a trait for later on in the season or something.
It might be. I think they were just trying to show that he didn't quite realize how serious her transgressions were at the previous school. So that even though he started saying, you know, everything is forgiven and this is a brand new start. Oh wait, but you were actually not that great a student, so you have to watch yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was,
exactly. Yeah, it was. I love spotting these things, and
you're good. I don't even know what you guys are talking about. I vaguely know, but
it's just basically when she goes to the school and goes to the principal, he's got a report card, and it turns out that she burnt down the gym at the school that she previously at.
Right.
And obviously you find out because there was loads of vampires and all of that, and he's putting a report card together. I don't know why it's torn. He's taping it together, but the pieces aren't the right way round. It's a very odd scene, but it's funny. I'm glad he left it in.
That's really funny.
And there's something I wanted to call random Chet. Now there's a character in it that just appears from nowhere, right?
Yes.
When the girls are at the computers,
he pops in sideways.
It's like he slides in like Risky Business. I'm like, what is he doing there?
That's hilarious.
I don't think he's ever in another episode. Ever.
Yeah, he probably goes to these Comic Cons and signs things, doesn't he?
That's hilarious. I know who you mean exactly.
Yeah, that's great. Funny enough, you mentioned the report card thing. I have a feeling, especially if there's a pilot or not, I have a feeling that throughout the first two episodes of the show and maybe beyond, they mention Buffy's past. She brings it up numerous times that she already knows about vampires, that she's had experiences with Watchers because she asks them to leave her alone. And I think that they're sort of hinting that the Buffy movie was part of the official storyline and it's the same character. Because one of the final scenes in the Buffy movie is in the gym.
Oh.
And I don't remember if they set it on fire or not.
I can't remember.
But it's sort of like hinting that it could be the same character without specifically having to reference the storyline.
Yeah. Right, that's something to look at. I'm gonna make a note of that.
I just thought it was very interesting that she keeps bringing up, you know, she talks about decapitating vampires in the past and specifically references.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Has some training. Right, but they don't ever specifically go into who trained her or where she first learned about them or any of these things. So it kind of hints that the movie may have been the same character, like the prequel.
It could be if it is that, then great. Then we can tie that in with possibly the next episode or something. But it could be a very clever reference. That right, we'll acknowledge it at the very least. Because do you know Dave? Do you know the time difference between the movie when that was released and when this came out?
I think it's almost 10 years.
Oh,
10 years.
Yeah, I believe it's maybe not quite.
gee, I'm gonna look into that. I'm gonna make
Because
it
Buffy, the first 97.
actually.
Yeah.
Sorry, this is not. Or I'll look it up later.
No, that's fine. That's fine. It's fine.
Oh, yeah, 97. Okay, maybe it wasn't 10 years. I cannot remember.
Well,
It was around. It was around. I think it might have been 1990.
it was 92.
92. Okay, so 5 years between.
Yeah,
Wow. Okay.
yeah. So.
I think that might be Josh's reference gun, right? We're going to acknowledge it at the very least.
Yeah.
So yeah, if they do burn it down in the movie, then surely it's it's canon.
Yeah.
And it depends on obviously who produced it as well, because this is a Fox show, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. And I think
It's got to be owned by the same people. But yeah, and I I was watching it, and then the last half an hour or so of the second episode, I was watching it with Vicky, and she hates like monstrous makeup.
Oh.
And she can't stand to look at Worf's head in Star Trek. So I said, "You're in for a treat. Let's watch the last half an hour of this episode together." And yeah, exactly, yeah.
yeah.
And it really stands up. I've got to say, hats off to the production team, because the makeup really stands up for me.
Yeah, me too.
It does actually. I think right off the bat, it doesn't feel bad, and there's no inappropriately placed computer graphics that ruin it. The real effects.
I don't know how they do it. Like, I still don't know how they make the vampires look all scrunchy.
Do we see the? I can't remember. I should remember this. But do you see the transition on screen?
Yes, I think you see with Darla, not in the very first scene, but later on. And it's not great.
Right.
It's pretty instantaneous.
Yeah.
Almost like a phase thing.
Yeah, I think. You're
Oh,
right.
I see. Like the transition in Willow when they get turned. You know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love Darla's character. I can't remember the actress's name, but she's in a lot of stuff like she's Dexter's wife in that show, and the chap that plays what's the main vampire? I'm terrible at this. I'm so sorry. What's the vampire that's trapped in the other realm?
That's
the master.
Not the master.
So his number 2 is.
Yeah. All right, Luke. I mentioned this.
Yeah, we were talking about.
I love that guy. I love that actor. He's been in so many great shows. He's got such a unique face.
He's the alien bounty hunter.
Like the little thing from X-Files. Yeah.
He is also in Angel as another vampire.
He's got such a good voice, hasn't he?
No, that's you sound like Dave. It's funny because he was saying that.
Yeah.
He loved that.
You find him playing these sort of sci-fi horror monster characters in a lot of different things.
That's really cool. Did you have a favorite scene? Like, 'cause I know I have one.
You know what? I know it's easy for me to say this, but the opening for me, because it was such a turnaround, I loved it. The opening, and I would say the early exchanges with Giles and Buffy in the library, like, I'm gonna leave now.
Yep.
Yeah, I love that.
I love how he just bang with the book.
That was good. I love that. I love their interactions in general. My favorite scene had to do with the computer room, not the guy popping in and out, but at the end when Cordelia is being such a bitch, basically. Hopefully, I'm not swearing. But,
That's fine. That's fine.
Where she just as she leaves and Cordelia is confused about the programming and Willow says, "What was it?"
Oh, you press the deliver key.
The deliver key. And she...
I loved it.
Beautiful.
great shot too. The editing, because you see her face like just start to realize she screwed up, and they cut to the next scene.
Yeah, it was really good editing.
Yeah. You don't need a grimace or anything like that, do you?
Yeah.
It's really brilliant.
Plus, I love Willow for that. Like,
I don't know if I have a favorite scene, but I actually forgot how much I liked the Master as sort of a villain.
Yeah, like when the souls were being taken and he was getting the life force from the people being killed at the club. What was the club called? Bronze. I loved how he was absorbing it. I loved that.
Me too.
Yeah, just lighting, I think. Just lighting effects. It was brilliant.
And like it was the what was it? What was the story? It was the earthquake that swallowed up the town, wasn't it? Because it's a church he's trapped in, isn't it?
Yeah, I think
because when you see the camera go down to Hellmouth the very, very first time, you see the kind of arch of a church, and it's such a cool idea. And I thought, she's not going to discover Hellmouth straight away. That's too soon.
Yeah, that's very observant of you.
And why was that? Oh no, this might not, maybe because it's a caretaker thing. But why was the door padlocked when she was going to go down there? Why would they need to do that?
in the church.
Yeah. Before she goes down, and she sees what's his name, Daniel. Yes, Angel. Yeah, she sees Angel at the gate. I thought that was so funny. And one of my other favorite moments is it Darla?
Yeah.
When she's going to the club with the other vampire, she's dancing along in slow-mo.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the bouncers outside. I absolutely loved that. I thought that was great fun.
That was great. Yeah. That was really well done.
Yeah. I like that the vampires don't need to do anything. They don't threaten him. They don't even attack him. They're intimidating by their very appearance. So they just bring him inside.
Yeah, I initially thought, right, they're just going to bite him. That's it. The big guy that from the X-Files is just going to bite him. Yeah. And then they put his arm behind his back and take him in.
Yeah. And I like the idea of like this.
Oh, he does get bitten. He does get bitten on stage, doesn't he? Yeah.
I think he's the first person.
Yeah, that's right. First, yeah.
They kill people in the second episode of the show, and first. Xander's friend dies, and a couple of people die in the club, and there's almost no mention of anybody dying back at the high school. They just over it.
Oh yeah.
Imagine the level of investigation for that.
And that reminds me of Willow asking if they can get the police, and Buffy explaining.
Oh, that's right.
Well,
yeah.
Useless. I like what was the friend who got killed? Xander's friend?
I cannot remember.
Whatever.
Jesse.
Yeah.
I like when he's turned, he's confronting Xander at the end, and he feels powerful being a vampire, and how it's like an energy thing.
Yeah.
And that it's better than being the loser he was or whatever.
That was really big. That was one of the first kind of differences where they mentioned what the difference is between being a vampire and not. It's not just you're the same person, but you now have to drink blood. But there's a change in personality.
Yeah.
Which we used the whole series.
Yeah, which I like. Sorry,
No.
For a second, get all excited about these because I like things that have are gray morally sometimes, or they
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, they tease you between what is good and what is evil. That's really interesting to me. And so if you make a vampire kind of not more alluring maybe, but there are some benefits to being a vampire that maybe there's a bit of a trade-off idea of life or death or good or bad. It kind of makes it more interesting.
Yeah, Jesse made a very clear distinction in the club. And when they were cornered in that air shaft or whatever it was, that kind of boiler room, earlier in episode 2, I think it is, and he says that other guy, he separates himself as a different person.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think it allows the audience to lose Jesse if you connected with him. So the fact that he's completely changed into this vampire person, not just he's been infected. There's no oh, help me, Xander, help me. There's none of that. This is right. This is it. Nice, clear cut.
Yeah.
I thought there's kind of clear characters and story and Yeah, I really enjoyed the first 2 episodes, and it brought back so much nostalgia for me. Especially that theme tune is incredible.
Yeah, it's true. And then just even sort of like the technology that we take for granted now, like the computer sizes, like the monitors were this wide, or just...
I love that scene in the library I was telling you earlier, where Giles says to Willow, "I'm going to need you to go on the internet."
Right.
A really big deal.
Yeah. So what is that? 97? This.
Yeah.
It is because I remember having a PC on 98, and it is a big deal going on the internet like that.
Yeah.
And you know what? That school, maybe it's an American thing early in high school, but doing programming,
Yes.
that is such a mature thing, I think. And especially, that's what kids are recommended by the head of Google, the head of Twitter, and a lot of these big companies say this is what you should learn to get ahead in future with programming. And that was really clever. And to see to see that in the show, I was really impressed. And the other thing that's almost dated now, not dated, but it just wouldn't happen, is she takes the printouts to Giles. Even the idea of printing now.
Yeah, that's true too. All these subtle things, eh?
But there's also some brilliant things in the time, and you brought this up. I think it's the first show that I can think of where in the club in the Bronze they have live music, and it's the actual bands,
which I love.
Oh, really?
Playing the songs.
Yeah.
And it's not, and I know there's a difference in filmmaking where the characters.
It's the cuts, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and it's one of the only shows I can think of where they have that consistently throughout the entire show, where they have these showcase bands. So they must have a music supervisor going out and finding bands to actually make appearances on this show,
which is really cool. Yeah,
very clever to do that.
You talk about so many unknown bands being inspired by the movements of the time, the music of the time, and it was such an outlet for that. I mean, I think I actually discovered music from that show.
Oh, I did too. I remember looking up bands and saying, "I like that song. That's very neat."
That's really good for the show because it gives it a real fresh vibe. But then great exposure for the band as well.
Absolutely.
And they even mentioned it. Remember I think in the second episode when they dim the lights and Luke appears on stage, Cordelia says, "Oh, I didn't think there was a band tonight." Like it's some part of a show that they're doing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
I wonder if do you know if Bronze makes another appearance, or can you remember if Bronze is a consistency in the show?
It's a consistent thing
I don't think. Yeah, I think it's in the entire series.
Yeah. Same set, it seems like.
Yeah, I think it's exactly the same set, same stage. I don't think they ever make a point of closing it or destroying it or anything like that.
Yeah, because I was just thinking that. I was thinking, the one way they get rid of a location is they just destroy it in these shows.
That's true. And I noticed in the they make a few scenes in that crypt that they used as the vampires using as the entrance. It's the same crypt. I think that set is consistent.
I think later on Spike uses that.
Like redressed.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Amazing. I'll have to keep an eye out for that, how many times that happens.
Yeah, it's true. Actually, that's a good one. Things that we should maybe, highlight that for the next time.
Oh, no, absolutely. Like, I think favorite kills or random, I'm going to call it random chets.
Yeah.
The guy on the chair. Random chets. And
really like the fake out kill with Luke in the end of the second episode where she destroys the window.
Yes. Yeah. that very moment where she breaks the window and he thinks it's daylight, but it's just like a night light out through this pane of glass. That represents the show in such a clear-cut way.
You guys have just hit one of the beautiful things about Buffy, and I would never be in the series if it didn't have humor. Yeah. Like, it has depth and humor. Any show that can balance those two, that wit, holy shit, that's
I've got to give so much respect to Josh Whedon because the sheer amount of dialogue he must have written for this show.
Yeah.
Because it's so well delivered by the actors and the quips. Xander, Giles. I love Giles. I met him once. I was
I'm so jealous.
Fanboyed out. And for me, it's later on in the entire show, but he comes through a house. It's like a haunted house or something. He uses a chainsaw to make a door, like a doorway into this house. And I was like, he comes through, like smoke comes in and he just walks in with a chainsaw. It's the coolest moment on the show. But I think it's like 6 seasons down or something like that. So
I think you're right. Giles was such a cool character.
I'm just going to check my phone because I made a couple of more notes about the second episode.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at this too.
Yeah, random chat. Oh, and I love where Buffy kept her kit in the bottom of the chest.
Yeah, he made a comment on that.
And that's part of she must have some history that they don't go into because she already has an arsenal that they really moved from her old house to the new one.
And I have a question about this, and I'm going to show you. We actually have holy water. It's just tap water. But anyway, it's my prop. What can I say? But you had a question about there's no holy water that's ever used, but you noticed.
Oh no, it's used in the second episode.
Oh, you're right.
On it gets used.
Starlet with it.
Yes, on her back. Yeah, she runs out. Yeah.
I think it just repels them a little bit, like a cross does. And that's one thing I noticed right away is there is some incredible inconsistency to the vampire's reaction to the cross.
I love how you can just get swatted away as well.
Sometimes they're completely repelled by it. When she's cornered, I think it's the climax of the first episode at the beginning of the second. She's in the coffin or whatever with and she has this little cross.
The one around her neck, yeah.
And then later on in that same episodes, they kind of just flinch at it, but don't really care that much.
Yeah. That's so true. It's so true. Yeah.
The whole series, they don't really establish just how powerful it is or not.
And it doesn't matter.
And it doesn't matter. It doesn't really affect anything.
The beauty. I always wonder, like, writing is like, I'm really focused on writing.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I'm always curious about, writing is like painting and sculpting simultaneously. So you got to know what matters and what doesn't. What can you leave out?
Yeah.
And like that inconsistency doesn't really matter. But other things like, I don't know, Xander's character, and it really matters. So how do you know? Anyway, that's a big question.
I'd love to know more about. She is trained, but she's physically like a superhero.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like when she's opening the vent or she's jumping over the school gate.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like, where's that come from?
Yeah.
I want to see more. I'm sure we'll see more about all of that.
We will,
And just to go back to the trunk she's got from her arsenal with the stakes and all of that, I wish I'd looked at it or paused it because there's a tray of stuff above it. I just wondered if there's like some backstory in her character in that as well. So maybe we'll see that again.
You're right. I didn't think maybe there's actually a little bit more like depth of her character.
Yeah.
Go there.
I love her mum. I think the mum character is great as well.
She's a great actress. I think
she's excellent, and she just gets better and better. The writing for her is incredible. And, brilliant.
Yeah.
I think just to touch on one last thing. I think when they talk about how passive the police are, I think there's actually, I'm sure there's an awareness of the police in the town about the vampires. I'm sure there's something about that where they kind of understand what's going on and they're a bit passive about it.
That's a good point, Alex.
They must touch on it. They must.
Oh yeah, and who cleaned up that Darla did a great job cleaning up that corridor, the first kill.
Yeah.
And then she puts the body in the locker room.
Yeah, which isn't at all where she bit him. So
yeah, let's drag him halfway down the school, and I found that so funny. I love it. isn't it a beautiful thing when you just start watching a show again, or you watch the first episode and see how these characters work? Like, there's a couple of early X-Files episodes for me where there's certain atmospheric things that are just it just feels so great to watch.
Yeah.
And it's really nice to go back on this. I think I disliked Buffy's character when I originally watched it because I really loved Xander's character. I connected with him quite a lot.
Me too.
Especially protecting yourself, having a laugh and, the insecurities and everything. I didn't really connect with Buffy, I think.
Me
But
neither.
exactly. So I think it's so well rounded already. It's episode 2.
Yeah, you're right. This is so much fun in it, and it obviously goes beyond this series, these episodes, or this series, but to broader things. And yeah, it's great.
And that's we'll have to see what happens with the Master and him getting out of that portal.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when we find out it's the Hellmouth, I don't know when. I don't know when that is.
Something we haven't talked about it a lot is Angel's appearance, the mysterious guy in the alleyway that talked to for.
Yeah.
I know he's because he doesn't transform, does he?
No, not
in these 2 episodes.
We don't even know he's a vampire.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
I tell you what, if anyone watches this and they say, "Oh, he spoiled it,"
No, sorry.
Spoilers.
You've had 22 years.
Yeah, 22 years of Angel.
But yeah, this has been great. I think this is the start of a nice way to do this. I think this is really good fun. And David remembers all the names. I can't remember the names. So yeah, this has been great. And how many seasons are there?
7.
7.
That's great. That's really great.
I
And
still haven't seen the very last episode of season 7. I haven't seen the very last episode of all of it, but I'll be doing
really?
this. Yeah, I don't know what happens.
What?
Incredible.
I've been waiting for a special moment, and you actually.
You know what? I'm gonna reserve saying anything bad about that because I love Deadwood, right? I love Deadwood, and they killed it off because I think it was one of the heads of HBO. His wife was a producer on what's that show about the movie star? And they got a group of friends around him. Entourage, and that stayed on HBO, and Deadwood got put to the side because of one of the heads of HBO's wife being a producer on the show. That's what I read, and I was so pissed off. And Deadwood is a work of genius.
Deadwood is brilliant, and I cannot wait if they actually end up doing the movie. But
no, it's done. It's done. You can buy it. It's done. But I have been holding off watching that since I heard about it. I've seen a screenshot of a lesser character's death, and I was so pissed off because I didn't know that. So I need to watch it now.
Oh, that's hilarious. Boy, so we have something in common.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll tell you what, we'll work out. Maybe the last episode of each season, we'll watch it together or something like that. We'll work something out as well.
That sounds crazy. We just want to keep it whatever.
Yeah.
Is fun.
Exactly. Yeah, and we'll watch. I think a couple every time we kind of come together.
Yeah.
I think that's the way to do it.
Thank you.
This has been great fun. I think it's going to make a nice addition for the festival as well, and beyond that as well.
Oh, that's awesome! I'm so glad you're into it too, because I'm just a big fan.
Oh yeah, I wonder if and like you said, David, I think let's see if that random Chet makes another appearance.
Or the girls in the locker room who find the body.
Yes. Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I don't think they do, but.
And does Darla make another appearance? Let's leave that for next episode. Well, this is great. We need to figure out if you come up with an idea for the title of the show.
Oh, great idea!
If there's some sort of like Buffy watch or something like that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Something kind of snappy.
Actually, I kind of like that. But let's think about it. But that's an idea.
Yeah, a friend of mine, a very talented musician, which you can appreciate, he's writing a version of the Buffy theme for our show.
Oh, that's great.
No way.
That's
Yeah.
Oh my God.
He's super, super talented. He's done all the original stuff for Isolation, all the stuff for Hellbound, and I said to him, "Can you do this?" I said, "Yeah, I'll do it." He's got all this great gear. Yeah.
I can hardly wait to hear it. That's so great.
And then I'll come up with some sort of logo. I've got a few ideas for that. So.
Oh, fun.
Fun. Thank you so much for taking the time and arranging it and sending us the link and planning. And sorry about
Yeah,
this.
none of that matters. And was it your dishwasher or washer dryer or something?
Yeah. And believe it or not, it's not installed. Well,
the saga is ongoing.
It's ongoing. Let's just say
It's grim. It's grim. Like doing flooring, fencing, house stuff, skirting, anything. It's grim, isn't it?
It's annoying, but we're lucky. First world problem. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it's great to see you both. And we'll whenever you're comfortable doing another couple, I'm whenever. That's my attitude. But there's no pressure. It's just about having the fun, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I mean, we could 2 weeks or whatever. If not after that.
Let's think about 2 weeks from now. I'll send you like a possible. What's that? I'll cut this end bit out of the show. So the week of the 17th, something like that. Yeah. Oh no, is that right? Yeah.
Maybe the 20th or something.
20th is great. Yeah. I think it was Thursday. We talked about doing this on Thursdays, didn't we?
Yeah. So
I think it's Thursdays. It used to be shown in the UK every Thursday.
I think it might have been Thursday here as well. I remember I used to go to a friend of mine's place every week with a group of people, and we'd watch it for a few years.
Isn't that a missed thing now, where you go around a friend's house to see if they're in?
Yeah.
You know, I do miss those things, and anyway, that's a whole other conversation.
But thank you. This is so much fun, and as we progress, like
the show, this will mature in one way or another, and it'll find its feet. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think when we get to the end, and I'm just sort of vibing off my own brain, but I think that we'll really get to know what we think of shows and what we look for, and what themes we like, or what characters, and we'll get to know each other through that. Actually, anyway, I'm all excited.
Yeah, like I love the expansion of. Do I see the club again? I like locations and like seeing different rooms in buildings, that kind of thing. So.
Oh, I'm writing that down. That's cool. Okay.
Like the development of Hellmouth, how that progresses. Does it change? Do they change the sets? So I'm looking forward to all that. And finding that entrance way again, seeing that for the millionth time. That'll be funny.
I think that's not until the 6th season.
Oh wow. Okay.
I'm not sure. Wow.
I'll make a note. We'll bring that up in a good few weeks.
Excellent.
Thanks, Alex.
Awesome. I'll see you both soon, and I'll send you a message about the next episode.
Perfect.
I'll send you some concept art and the theme when Chris has written it. See what you think. Make sure you're happy, and then I'll send you a couple of screenshots of how the episode will look. And I'm keeping it as fun and efficient as possible as well, because. And I'll tell you when it's going to pop up, and then we can kind of post things and all of that.
That sounds great. And we'll think about the theme, the title, or whatever.
We can come up with anything.
Absolutely. I think the chat, if we merge the chat about 2 episodes at a time, I think that's absolutely fine. And then I'll make sure the titles of the episodes are in the description and all of that as well.
Oh, yeah, great. Okay. Thanks.
Awesome. Enjoy the rest of your day. It's absolutely it's sweltering here. I'm so hot. It's ridiculous.
It's cooled off here. It was sweltering, but it's a bit more fall-like here, or autumn-like here.
Yeah.
But anyway, keep safe, Alex, and everybody.
Absolutely. We'll come up with some sort of saying for the end of the episode as well.
Don't get staked.
I know. I'm going to have props. I'm going to have garlic and all sorts hanging next time. Bats. I love it. I love it. Yeah.
Sorry. Okay.
That's fantastic. Or maybe a cross that during the episode starts to turn round.
Is there a clock with a cross? Oh, sorry, I don't know.
Oh, there's so many horror films when the cross just turns out. I love that. There's something very dark about that.
That's very cool.
Anyway, nice to see you both, and I'll speak to you very soon.
Bye, Alex. Thanks. Take care.
Bye.